Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Coffee and Crits. I'm your host, Aaron Washington. I'm here with my two co-hosts, Mike, woo, Nick.
Yeah, baby.
If you noticed, we're at Guild Gaming today. Why? Because we will it so. So shout outs to Guild Gaming in Jacksonville for all your tabletop, card game, board game, anime figure, all that good stuff. I guess all your nerd needs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All your nerdy needs. So we're out here with Ravage. Shout out to them. Thank you for coming here and setting up. We're appreciative. So we're in this auspicious occasion. I'm here to talk about how great Baldur's Gate 3 is.
All right,
We're not actually going to have Coffee and Chris. You're going to sit here and listen to me rant about Baldur's Gate 3 for like the next half an hour.
But Aaron, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3
I
yet.
can't get it.
It doesn't matter because even if I told you what I did, you can do things differently.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, no, really though. But it's a good story. And speaking of story, that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about stories and plots.
Plots? Stories?
Plots and stories and players.
Trains? Are you talking about trains?
We may talk about a little bit of a train.
No.
A road, if you will. A road on rails. We'll talk about that though.
No.
So
are we talking about like shooter games now, like at the arcade? You know those rail shooters?
yes, that's exactly how it feels sometimes when you're DMing for people. Okay, so let's start with a pool. So all three of us DMing for a while now. We've all played through games.
Yep, quite a few.
Quite a few. Ran a few games.
Yep.
Quite a few.
I'm in a few games with Nick too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We are in some games.
And we've all played games together. So here's the question. Man, when you're running, how do you got an idea, right? You got a cool story idea. But man, isn't it sometimes a little difficult to get that cool idea down for players to actually play that cool idea? Like from
Well, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes players don't even play the idea, Nick.
What?
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Not saying, Nick.
We're starting with some call-outs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's easy. You're right next to, Aaron here on my right.
Oh my God.
I can stare at you a bit.
Oh, is that how it's going to be?
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. No, but I mean, because some people find it very hard to take their cool world homebrew concept idea and then turn it into a story, because having like world lore is not a plot either. It's not the same.
Well, I mean, it can
yeah.
help if you just want to sandbox it.
Mm-hmm. But
just
most
kinda
people are
drop
trying to
players
like
in
tell
there.
a tale. Like, let's be honest. Like,
yeah.
when you have like another DM come up to you, it's more like, let me tell you the story of my world and what they're doing. It's not like, oh, I just got some back lore. No, it's you want to tell a tale. You want to tell a story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also helps with the lore. There's nothing actually worse than actually having a DM just spill the entire lore of the game and not actually play the game. It's
Yeah.
At that
Yeah,
point,
we've
it's just
been there.
a lore dump.
Yeah. I like for my DMs to give me a little like sauce. I have to have an idea of what the world's like, so I can build into it. But man, so Nick, let's start with you, man. So
Yeah.
you got an idea, man. Like, do you have like a roadmap? Do you map it out? Like, here's the beginning, here's the middle, here's the end. Do you kind of how do you segment that out? How do you?
I start off with the overall idea in my head, and then I break it up into bullet points.
That's a good
so
idea.
I have a beginning, and then I'll set up some bullet points till I get to what I would believe to be the climax, or at least the halfway point of the story, and then I just finish out the bullet points with a possible ending. There's a favorite ending in mind, but I don't make it the only ending. And so I like to kind of have little sub-blips or bullets, depending on how the game actually goes.
Yeah.
And doing bullet points actually helps if somebody does something completely unexpected. I can go, all right, I need to replace that bullet point with this so that more story can happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I roll.
Okay. Mike, what kind of approach do you take?
I like to write the ending So whatever, like the villain speech, the final confrontation, the epic battle, and then everything needs to kind of point towards that. So no matter what
Okay.
the players do,
Oh,
I try to
okay.
veer it towards the end in some
So
sort of
it's a
shape, way,
very
or
like
fashion.
all roads lead to Rome
Yeah.
kind of deal.
But the players are the ones who choose the roads to kind of navigate.
Man,
Hell yeah.
I wish I knew who my final villain was sometimes.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you how I accidentally vected? I think I've told that story for you guys.
No, I don't know if I've heard that story.
Yeah.
No? Oh my goodness. Okay, I will at the end I will mention how I accidentally made Vecta my final villain without realizing it.
Gotta love
Well,
that.
this sounds like an interesting
It
story.
is pretty.
that
It's pretty
I
crazy.
really
It's
wanna
pretty
hear.
crazy. That's because me, I sometimes know the beginnings and middles. It's endings that are usually like my thing. Like I'm like, man. So a lot of times, I'll end up developing the final. A lot of the time, my final entity is very vague, and there'll be a point once I know who it is. They will begin to. Those hints will start to reveal themselves. But usually, I'm very vague and like, you know, a force or.
Does that mean it actually surprises you who the villain is?
Yeah,
at the end?
sometimes.
You just surprise yourself, like, oh, wow. I guess
Yeah.
going back to Vecna.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was Vecna
You know,
the whole time.
or like one game that I ran, I literally just, you know, I had this whole thing with like these the one we did with Joram and the King and the
Oh, yeah,
birth
yeah,
of the
yeah.
King, and you find out that like he stopped these entities and he's like, they are coming, you know, that kind of deal. And I was like, what are they? Oh, okay, got it. Yep, that's them. But I do have, I guess, I like to do story beats, and then I like to do character beats. I like it when characters give me a backstory because it allows me to add that to the story, less I have to make.
But Aaron, I don't like giving you backstory because you're going to use it,
Yeah, I will. Oh my God, I will. Like,
and things happen.
you can almost guarantee that if we're doing a long-term campaign, if you give me a backstory, it's gonna show up.
Absolutely.
It will. Like, I will. Whoo.
Ah, man, it was like the Curse of
It's like
Strahd.
the game's
when-
writing
when
itself, John.
I gave you the hag backstory, then somehow you're like, oh, Baba Yaga shows up, you know,
Yeah,
Queen
no,
of the Hags.
listen,
and
you
I'm
can't-
like,
you can't
which
give me-
Queen, and I'm like, oh my goodness,
You cannot.
what have I done?
Listen, you're literally helping me write the story.
It's all your fault, Mike.
like,
It's all your fault.
Yes.
Well, it
so-
is. I gave Aaron something to work with. That was my mistake.
yeah. So, like, what I usually do, as far as like players, just for other DMs, when you ask for backstories, because you have some people who will write like you essays, and you have some people who will give you a few lines. So here's what I do. Number one, I will read it anyway. I will read the essay. And then I'm going to tell the person, out of these story beats, tell me the parts that are most important to you. And then a lot of times what I'll do is, like, when I start campaigns, I have a notepad, and then I write the person's name, their character, and then I write notes about just the big story beats of that thing. So if someone gives me a shorter one, and I just write the basics in, then I start asking them questions. Because sometimes people just
I mean, I
don't
guess
really...
they can flesh it out a little bit more. I
Yeah,
suppose.
especially like when I'm doing games that are definitely more heavy storytelling. Like for instance, if I'm what is it? Like World of Darkness,
Oh yeah,
Right.
it's a very story.
vampire, werewolf hunter. If you give me a very simple story, I'm very much going to be like, well, what were they like? Well, how did you feel about them? Are they still your friends? Do you still have contact with them? You know, how do they feel? And like sometimes just asking a person questions, because not everyone's going to have all the answers, because they don't really know what you're looking for in a story. They just made the character. So, you know, there are a few questionnaires you can use too. I found online as resources, but a lot of times, like, I'll just ask them curiosity.
and,
Like, I went to a maid school. How was that like? You got any friends that are still?
Have you
in
ever
that school?
seen? I think it was like a 200 questionnaire about your character and your
I remember.
Oh,
I remember
no.
that you talking about the one that tells you your level, your stats, and
yeah,
all
it
that.
gives you like a backstory. It takes like an hour
Man.
to fill this thing
That
out.
sounds
It was a really
insane.
cool app there,
You know what though?
or
Legend of
program.
the Five Rings had a real. Like, its character creation is a questionnaire. It's like 20 questions, but by the time you're done, you have a completely built character,
Well, 'cause
and you
that
have an
really
idea of who
fits
they are.
into like the game itself, because you have the different elements which give different approaches to how you
Yeah. So,
go to do different things.
but definitely like that's how I tend to take people's like backstories, and I definitely like less is sometimes because not everyone's going to give you
a
everyone's gonna drop
paragraph
you.
is a paragraph is nice. I actually don't like essays. I've seen several pages. I think 5 is the max that I've seen. And then I had one character give me a ridiculously long backstory when I questioned why he wanted to be a troll, half vampire, half elf.
Yeah,
gnoll,
see that's not
like
making it.
lich, and he gave me like this really long lineage, and I'm sitting here staring.
That's
like,
not for story. That was for the meta.
That was
that
purely
wasn't even.
that was a build.
That was a build. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, that's why I asked him. I was like, "Look, you need to explain how you ended up with all these different things on one single character." And he's like, "Okay." And
That's absurd.
yeah, it was absurd.
Yeah, man. Gotta love it.
Because here's the thing. Because like you guys usually give me like a few lines. Sometimes, Nick, you give me less than a few lines.
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes you make me have to like really work.
Well, Nick just gives us a name, and we already know his backstory. He's like, "Oh, I'm playing Crawless." I'm like, "Oh, I know exactly who Nick's character is right now."
Heck yeah, man. Going with the classics.
But usually if I need more, I'll just like, Nick, I need more sauce than this, and then he's fine with coming up with more. But so it's okay to ask, your players. For
I don't know, I've started, and I did this the last game I ran, or started anyway, and I was like using keywords. So I was like, "Nick, give me some keywords about your character," and he's like, "Oh, I'm a master of shadows," or the Red Sparrows. And so we worked up a Thieves Guild in the game. Oh, Red Sparrows is now a Thieves Guild.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And so it made it really quick, and Nick was able to actually use the keywords in game to do things.
Okay. I did this once. I can't remember the game I did it in, but I had all the characters were essentially meeting each other for the first time or something like that. So everyone wrote down 3 things about their characters. 2 were true, 1 was a lie. And then I literally mixed them up and I passed them out to everyone else. And I'm like, this is the thing you know about this person. And sometimes it was the true statement, or sometimes it was the lie statement.
Actually, I really like that. It
Kinda
reminds
like a
me
rumor
of
of them.
10 Candles a little bit, where you
And it probably was the
everybody writes
inspiration.
up a little bit.
That's probably
of,
the inspiration for that.
It was cool, though. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, Nick, you usually, when you do hero games, you ask us for backstory. And
Yeah, I like to use what I can.
Nick
What is
also
it?
uses the backstory against us.
Yeah. So what is it? Because usually the trick is
Why are you saying it like that?
backstory.
I remember Nick.
theme song.
Theme song, so I can get a feel for the character.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this brief story about Nick was running a superhero game, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do like this vigilante police officer, and he's going to have a family, like 2 kids.
That game was rough off break.
And then Nick's like, oh, look, guys break into your house, murder your whole family.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, I just started the game. Session
you
1.
did.
It was just the
Session
husband. Murder the husband. You still had your kids.
Yeah,
your
that's true. But
kids
she got
were there.
shot, I think. Didn't one of the kids get shot? She
Oh,
didn't die.
winged, like winged.
Yeah.
Somehow my character ended up like really taking care of them a lot too. It was super
I like
weird.
it.
For context,
Session's like
it was
0.
based in the Unbreakable universe. It was supposed to be a little dark.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to admit, you kind of started that at 100.
I did.
Like
I
it
did.
wasn't any like a crawl or a creep.
Nah,
You
it
went
was,
like you must have been feeling some kind of way because you went all in.
I did,
In
yeah.
the very intro, we were like, "Wow, that
Yeah.
kind of escalated, didn't it?"
Sometimes the train
Yeah,
starts
we're-
off
yeah,
fast,
0 to 100,
baby.
yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. But speaking of trains, so let me ask a question: have you guys ever railroaded your players?
Choo choo.
In the beginning, when I was running, yes,
Hey, roller coasters are on rails.
they are. They are.
Sometimes you gotta. Like, I'm not gonna tell you any stories. Sometimes I'm like,
Well, the best games are ones that are on rails, but you never realize they are on rails.
To me, that's the best way to do it. Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
The players think that all the decisions are their own, but you just led them on the train car.
It was
down the road.
Quentin Wellesby all along.
it was me, Clinton.
Behold. But yeah.
Well, whenever he appears in the game, I already know he's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's doing something.
Yeah, that's like I very hard. Like, all right, yeah, we're gonna help this guy. Nothing should go wrong.
Nope. He's a good person.
He's not.
He's
He's never good.
Oh man.
I don't. No.
Well, funny enough, like the next time you were in a game, I thought about this. If Quentin was in it, I wanted to have a story related to Quentin Wellesby. But what I wanted to be was a clone that left the incubator early. So I was like a defective clone.
Of Quentin Wellesby?
Yes, I was going to be a warlock of Quentin
Oh man, that
or
sounds
something
fun.
like that.
I
right out
will
of the
prove
gate.
to be better than you, Quentin.
Bam.
Well, like he
scoring.
wouldn't know. Like he just kind of popped out and like, it's more of like a who am I type of deal. Like what's going on? I have magic. What am I doing? And then I thought that'd be I just thought being like a clone or a simulacrum of another wizard.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You don't know what you're doing to me right now, guy. Oh,
I thought
We
that'd
had
be
a
really
game
fun.
with
Wheels are
a
spinning.
clone that wanted to be better than its original. So its intention was to murder its original, so it could be the only one.
Yeah. You had a clone of Levy come after him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Because
That's right.
friggin' Malk and shit was making copies.
Look, you
I
can't
don't know
have,
why-
look, you had a 27 charisma and you went to the Queen of Succubuses. Like,
Yeah.
what did you think was
Like
going
to
happen?
save them. I was
nothing but
trying to
good
save
times were
lives.
had. All good times were had.
Really
there.
trying to save lives.
I was but I did. Like the character actually saved. I mean,
Yeah.
it was succubus lives, but succubus lives matter.
Well, the
They
fact
do.
is, you're like, what was it? Yeah, right. Restoring the beauty. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The succubuses in the multiverse were losing their beauty, and you had to undertake a fantastic quest.
Yeah,
to
because let me tell you
restore
something.
it.
Leviathan Luis Tregain does not suffer ugly succubuses. That is a
You know,
crime against
the,
nature.
the-
against God and anime.
The adventures of Levi and Ventress are a testament to Sandbox in a way that only Mike can run.
yeah.
When all that's left is the multiverse.
Because, like, we were
know you've
doing
done it.
just so much random stuff, but it all kind of worked out. Like, I don't know how much you knew we were going to do, because I feel
Well, I
like those two
didn't
were the
know-
most chaotic.
I didn't know anything that you were going to do. Like, I had a plan for the day. Going back to what, like I tell you, like I always have like an end game.
Yeah.
But so I had a plan what I wanted you to do, but then you would always do something completely
Bonkers.
different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
Lev-
I'll
Levy
have
was-
to pull out
was-
something
I
like, well,
feel
okay,
bad.
what is in this particular area of the multiverse?
Well, you did do the one, like, you knew, because I felt like you knew that I would follow the succubus hook. You knew I would follow that storyline.
Yeah.
It's because who Levy was.
Absolutely.
But from then
Well,
on,
I actually thought it was entirely absurd. Like when I had the succubus hooks that this Slotty were stealing the beauty from succubuses, it was like, oh, this is entirely absurd. No one's going to believe this.
Oh,
And somehow
you
it
poor
ended
man.
up being an actual part of the game. So
Yeah,
I was like,
buddy.
okay,
it was
we're going this route.
I don't know, man. Those two were like a chaotic buddy cop of fantasy.
Because one thing you'll notice, like when I DM, I like to flesh out the world or make it appear to be real. So I'll often put quest hooks in the game to just make the world itself feel
Yeah.
real. They're
Yes.
not real quest hooks. They're literally there's some bandit that is stealing from the
right,
banks.
because the world is constantly.
Yeah.
So here's the issue. Now, not every DM's gonna have this problem, but because you also have to think about the players at your table, right? Especially when you're making plot
Oh,
and
my
story.
God, yes.
So, because I feel like you've done that before, and it's never been like the issue you had with our table before. I feel like because you were playing with a group of us, and it was like one of the first times you DM'd for us on I think it was like Mondays when you first did it when we first
yes.
made Levy, and you were just like, you guys jump at every hook.
Every hook.
Every hook, man.
Well, some of the hooks you were supposed to go down was like the graveyard, which had this vampire, and there was this mercenary that went there. And so you were supposed to go there, so you would go to a keep that was infested by wraiths, and you would cleanse the keep, go to the wraiths, and the wraiths were supposed to lead you to a castle inhabited by a red dragon, but you didn't do any of that because you just circumvented the entire graveyard. For some quest hook, I don't even remember what the quest hook was.
Valhegan
No.
graveyard.
It started with the siege.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
siege
Yeah,
that was
the
supposed to. The city was supposed.
That you weren't even supposed to fight in.
Yep. It was
But you
just-
were like, I'm
we held
going to
the
the
line.
city walls.
we were like, yeah, we're gonna. I guess we'll protect this city.
We held the walls.
I don't know how though. Like it really was not really that winnable. I don't know. It was just rolls, crazy speeches, and
God, I'm dumbfounded to this day.
like, I don't know how. Like how does like a level 5 sorcerer fight against a bunch of melee guys? In melee?
Absolutely.
Well, you soloed that Oni. That was like 5 levels higher than you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. And
Oh,
that's
was
the kind of thing
was
that
so
can.
desperate. That was so desperate. That was such a desperate.
That's the
fight.
kind of thing that can be hard to plan for sometimes.
Yeah.
The thing is, I knew what was attacking the city. So when you guys were like, well, we're going to go to the siege, I was like, I guess this is what's there. Not
Yeah.
going to change it.
No.
We'll see how this goes.
Oh my.
But then we got in your head, Mike. We got in your head and we knew.
No, actually, I feel like as we went on,
We defied
I feel
you.
like Mike was like, okay, these guys are just gonna. I feel like you got a better handle. Because this was the first time you ran for like all of us too, like Tanner, me, Tanner.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because you'd already ran with Nick, but this was like the first long-term game you had been in with a lot of us at the table.
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, you were just like, I remember
mean,
you
you guys
saying
went
you were a
into
very
the-
different group than you were used to, because our dynamic was very different.
That's true.
Yeah, so
Do every quest.
man, let me
That
tell
was
you
it.
something.
We're doing every quest.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You gotta know your team, right? You gotta know the kind of people you're playing with.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a group of ladies I run for. You know who you are. I don't know which one is up right now, so I'm just gonna look at all. I'm just gonna look at each camera, and they will literally pick up NPCs like they're freaking Pokemon.
Yes.
Like they're playing Pokemon Go. And here's the thing. If they can't be like, if the NPC is in some way, shape, or form like someone who is in a bad position in life, or they're hurt, or they have a troubled backstory, or they're under the age of 17, sometimes that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They will just adopt them. It doesn't matter what I do. And like, because I'm also trying to make the world real, if this person needs help and this person's going to offer food and shelter,
Well,
and
it's a
security.
trap. Yeah, it is. It is a trap. You put it out there, and then players will gravitate towards it.
Yes, you
and
just
then-
got to be aware. You got to be aware of your table. Like, so I just literally was like, okay, I'm not going to manage all these NPCs.
I've seen it happen before. I'm sure Nick was in my game where the party had, I think, a whopping 30 NPCs.
I believe I helped thin those numbers in that game
I
Oh my God.
appreciated it.
after
like-
being betrayed by the meta.
So, so like,
It's a story for another
I think,
time.
I think, like, I
Another
think one of the
time.
things I ended up doing was like, I was like, okay, I gave them like a stronghold, like, or not like a stronghold, but like a base of operations. So I'm like, leave them here. And I made people who could take care of those people.
Yeah, that's probably
They're-
for the better.
I had to, because guess what?
Because we had a train. Like, Nick in the game, we had a whole train of NPCs. Like,
This was one of my. It was one of my
following
first
the party.
campaigns.
It was
think it
so
was-
out of hand. Eventually, I had to actually hand NPCs to players' characters, and I'm like, "Yo, you wanted the NPC? You're playing them from now on.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no,
This is-
absolutely.
This is
not.
too much to play."
Absolutely not. I
yeah.
did that before too. Like, listen, I'll if they need to do a story beat, I will role play that part. But other than that, here, I'm not doing it.
And and something else that that I feel like we could talk about it to help with versatility in a game, especially when you're coming up with a story and you don't know what players are going to do, is have yourself a couple of little pre-made modules
Oh yes,
that you can throw into any game.
they help out a lot.
You
Actually,
can make it a quick raid. It could be a warrior. I have currently in my Monday game, I've got a guy walking around challenging adventurers and killing them on the road. That's just there just in case.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and being able to kind of go,
Yeah.
this is here. Look at go.
yeah,
do
I
the thing.
actually did that for my Sunday game when Nick decided he wasn't actually going to go play the game at all.
What?
No.
Decisions had to be made,
Yeah,
and
no,
I was a
that's
rogue.
That's where we started, and he didn't want to do the main story, so we went on a secondary story. And so we got to the secondary story, which actually happened to be zombies, which what they wanted to do, because I asked them, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
They're like, we want to go ferret out zombies. So I pulled out a module having to do with zombies, and then they said, zombies are too dangerous. We're leaving that module. And so we're like, okay, we're going to go to another module, which has
Yeah.
to do with a plague. So I was like, okay, it's a city. It's overrun by plague. Maybe I can hook this into the zombies and I can bring it back to that module somehow.
And I was
then
just
he's like,
like-
no, it's plague. We're avoiding that town. It's
We're
too
not going.
dangerous.
It's too dangerous. People were letting me do this.
Okay.
It's not fair.
This actually goes into a perfect a point, and that is when you're a player, you have to let story happen, right? Like, I understand people wanting to be true to characters, but we are playing a game, and it is a story told by players and DMs. So sometimes you gotta work with your DM
Yeah,
here.
if you want your player in the story, you need to make some concessions.
You got to.
Because otherwise it just won't work out.
You
And
got to.
I've seen this before with games where players will make characters that can't possibly fit into the game universe.
Yeah.
Or can't fit
Yeah.
into the party dynamic.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, oh, we're a bunch of vampire hunters. What are you going to make? I'm going to make a vampire that wants to kill all hunters.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I'm going to make a vampire who had his most dearest beloved killed by hunters. And I vowed vengeance on every hunter. So I hate them. Well,
let's join this hunter game. How is this going to work exactly?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I call it
an
the
annoying
13th
one.
Warrior Complex.
Oh yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know or is too young to understand, you should watch. It's actually a really great movie. I love it.
I had
Fantastic.
I
oh,
love
no.
the 13th.
We had a player
Wonderful.
actually do it. I ran a medieval game one time, and everybody else was like, was playing like Vikings or like Anglo-Saxons from like England, and I had one character who actually made a character from like the 13th Warrior.
I
It was
love that though. But here's the thing, like in the movie, he adapts to his environment.
Yeah.
And becomes like one of them in his own way. But the problem is when you're like trying to do the 13th Warrior, but you're just kind of like being out there, right?
Yeah.
Because you can do it right. You can be an outsider working in. I mean, we were literally
Well, here's
playing
what-
Curse of
the other
Strahd, and
problem
I was a
is-
vampire. Like,
Yes.
come now.
Oh yeah, sure. You actually were vampires, but to be fair, we had another character that was a vampire too.
But they didn't know they were like they came in like later. Sure. Yes.
Was it?
Yeah, the vampire character was the second character. The first one got like cracked in half and eaten by the rock.
Oh yeah, that's right. We'll mourn you, bards. We'll mourn you forever.
Moment of silence for how many people have been killed by the rock.
No, they've all been bards.
And
Moment of silence for all the bards in Ravenloft.
and my encounter. My encounter also got killed by a rock.
Yes.
Freaking polymorph, man.
But,
sometimes you never expect it.
Something else, that we did bring up about players is when they get bored and they make it known that they're bored, but all they've done every time you went to them, hey, what are you doing? I'm just at the bar. As a player, you kind of want to be like, you know what? I think I'll go explore while I'm at the bar. I'll try to get information.
Yeah,
or
well,
whatever.
engage
Hit
in
on
the
bar-
story a little bit.
Hit on the
can
barkeep.
Help make it more entertaining.
Hit on the barkeep and make.
triggered.
Oh no! Don't be triggered. No, please. I want to know.
Like, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, give me like I feel like there needs to be like a
Here we go.
A rant warning, like rant incoming kind of thing.
Flash it on the screen right
Rant
now.
incoming.
Flash it on the screen.
Random encounter table.
I think we can get a couple like red lights flashing.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
okay, so the rant is coming. 3, 2, 1. Now listen. Okay? Your DM is trying to facilitate a story with you, players. So when you literally just walk off somewhere and you don't say why, or you won't give your DM any reasons, do you know what that means? As a DM, I cannot facilitate what you want. What are you doing? I'm just out there. Why? What do you want? What are you doing? Are you just like expecting me to pull out like a random chart and make interesting things happen to you when you're by yourself?
I know this
You
one.
want me to soak up all that time? No. Like, give me reasons. That's all I'm asking for. Like, I'm not asking you to like completely drop your whole character.
You go out into the forest. You come back. Nothing
Right.
happens.
Like, come
Yes.
on. Like, okay, like if you're like literally just fishing for random events, even tell me that. Because you know what? I'll find a chart. I will roll a random event for you.
You like
Yeah.
charts now?
I love charts now, but just give me something. Just come on. The DM isn't just the facilitator of the game. You both are making the game together. It's more of a two-way street than a lot of
Well,
players.
it's a cooperative.
Yeah, it's a co-op game. We're telling a story together. I'm only one piece of the puzzle. You are the other piece. If your piece is freaking blank, I can't make a picture.
Yes.
All right, I'm done.
All right. There it is. There it is, folks. Yes.
Oh my God.
Have some steam coming
All right,
off.
we can.
Triggered.
Steam
No,
coming
no,
off.
man.
Yeah.
No, man. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay.
All right, warning over. Warning over.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Also, you should also make your So players need to be cooperative, right? Like, so they gotta.
On the other coin is DMs also should not railroad players into very specific storylines.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
Because I've seen that happen where
that's how you end up on Reddit.
Was it,
r/D&D horror story.
Oh,
DMs
buddy.
will force you to either run it or not run anything at all. So it's like you either talk to this NPC or there's no game at all.
Yeah,
And that's not a good alternative either.
Here's the thing: if you want them to be involved in this like orc invasion, but you only have one character that leads them to the invasion, then you got to think about other people will be affected. A region will be affected.
Yep.
If like they're trying to buy food and shelter,
Well, that
and
leads
then
in-
you have the town completely overrun with refugees. So all their markets up. Hey, how come this potion now costs 150 gold? Listen, there's a war going on, and they're demanding, the kingdom's demanding my supplies.
Well, that's a good
Yes.
idea for plot hooks. Like, if players
Yeah.
weren't gravitating towards the plot hook of the orc invasion, you can make it affect them on another level. Like,
Right.
oh, you can't buy those magical swords and equipment that you wanted because they're getting shipped off to the war. So now that the party is actually affected, they might take
Yeah,
it
or
away.
maybe maybe adventurers are being like signed up. Maybe they find think, oh man, if you're an adventurer, you're not just a normal like mook on the field.
Yeah.
Adventurers who sign up for the war effort
Get
like
money.
a signing bonus.
Just make
Yeah.
sure he pays them. Don't conscript them because if they
Yeah.
get conscripted, they'll run far away.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you try to conscript
Yeah, like
them,
it's better.
sometimes
It's
they
better.
leave.
It's better to bribe than to force. I mean, here's the thing. Now there is there's all these exceptions. Like there are tables where you could do that. Like you can pull that off, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if I have a bunch of players I know who could RP that really well and who wouldn't completely just derail the thing, I'd be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like not every, like almost like capturing players, right?
Oh, yes.
Capturing them. Like if you have a scene where they get captured, because you know what, players more than likely will fight to the death instead of allow themselves to be captured.
Yep,
Oh, yes.
which can be rough.
I mean, it's just
captured is also presents its own problems because I've seen that over the years where I've captured players, and sometimes it actually put the character out of the game for a period of time until he was rescued or escaped.
Yeah.
And then also had to do like a separate RP session with the other character while he was captured.
I've just been in situations where a DM wanted to like put us in prison for like a story thing, right?
yeah,
So, but like the way it ended up out was like everyone just fought it so hard. And then like by the time it's done, because he really wants us in this prison for this story beat, it's like he's shoving our defeat down our throats, right? So all of a sudden, like people come in who are way too strong. So it becomes like this thing where he's just, just slamming down us. You don't really want that feeling. Like,
Oh no! Well, it doesn't lead to
follow
anything.
my story beat.
It doesn't lead to anything good because generally, players will try to escape at all odds, if at
Yeah.
all possible.
Yeah.
Leading to even greater repercussions,
So-
assuming how they ended up captured in the first place.
yeah. So you know what I do sometimes? Like if I have a beat where like I think like this is gonna happen, like they're gonna get caught, I literally look at them and say, "Hey guys, so if this happens, if you guys get caught, I don't want you guys to worry. It'll be part of the story. Like I'm not gonna."
That might fall underneath DM player trust.
Yeah.
Like you're
yeah.
gonna have to just trust me. Then I'm not just gonna straight up, murder your characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I've had it happen where like something like that was happening. It wasn't something I planned, but all the events were leading to the fact that they were all going to get captured and surrounded.
Yeah.
So when they got to that position and I saw the like fight to the death mentality, I was like, "Hey guys, you're going to get captured, but I just need you to trust me that it's going to be fine. It'll still facilitate story, and you guys will be okay. Just trust me that it's going to be okay." And I broke the immersion for that because I knew that this was going to be nasty. Like, I was like, nah, I don't want any animosity. I don't want any of these feelings. I'm just going to be straight up. We're playing a game. Hey, you guys are going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And it actually...
That also falls, I think, underneath romantic encounters. Make sure you clear it with your players, especially if there's like an NPC that's
Oh, yeah.
infatuated with the
It's just
character.
anything.
Oh, yeah.
Anything. like comes to stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, 'cause some players just aren't interested in that.
Yep.
And so trying to force it just makes things worse.
yeah. And besides, there's other ways to make characters attached to other characters without actually doing the romance route.
Yeah, they can
Like
adopt little children.
Or a camaraderie type thing, or maybe
Be bros.
Yeah, maybe they're just they become close. Maybe they share the same trauma as the character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we both experienced the same thing. Then that character feels gravitated towards that character. NPC,
I find
yada, yada.
well-written characters, parties will usually gravitate towards them in more positive aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's not a positive aspect is when I get it. GMs want to tell a story, and sometimes that story needs to have a main character. But that main character should be the party.
Not the DM
And
NPC.
not the so we're going into the DM NPC just a little bit, but only from storytelling standpoint. You can have a character that is a main character with the party, but when your own story is just about your character and you have the players play second fiddle,
Yeah, the
it's
sideline
not
of the
bueno.
characters.
Not bueno at all.
Yeah.
Especially if your character is way more powerful with angel wings and all kinds of other stuff, and
Some
just
orbs
some
of
kind
flo-
of
no.
super creature, and they are supposed to just be there to guide you, but then kill everything in the fight and make the party feel like they did nothing.
Yeah. Well, this is funny because I in one of the campaigns that you played in for like half of it before you started running a game.
Yeah.
But Mike, you played through it all. Was when I did the campaign with like Torin and with Joram.
Oh yeah.
And essentially the plot was that it was like an ancient line, a bloodline, right, of this king, and they were trying to put him back on the throne, but he was like kind of like a chosen one, like he was like a paragon.
Well, he never felt like a main. I mean, he was a main character, but he never overshadowed anybody of the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like every character was a main character for some aspect of that story.
Yeah. So like when I was trying to figure out how to do this, I was like, all right, he's gonna be this guy, but I'm gonna make him inexperienced. He's a noble. He has his moral code, but he's lived a sheltered life. So all of these people I really wanted like all of you to kind of give an aspect to him. Like you were always everyone like
What I really
helped
liked,
Hector develop as a character.
Yeah, like at the end of it all, we all wanted to see him succeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't just like necessarily about him. It was just all of our time together with that character made us build that friendship that we wanted to put him on the throne anyway, which became the party's objective.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You like went through you guys went through like that whole crazy desert together and all this stuff, and it was just nice.
Good times.
So like everyone was started teaching him things on downtime. You guys realized, this guy, which here's the funny thing, he had like really dumb power. Like he had the potential to be like a ridiculous character because he was like a chosen one. So he could essentially adapt any class's skills and spells. So you guys like took that as like let me show you what it's like to be a druid. Let me show you what it's like to be a wizard. Let me show you what it's like to be a fighter. And like you guys kept like teaching him and developing him. Like I think Pat's character was like teaching him about politics, history. Like you guys were molding him into the king you like wanted him to be, which I really enjoyed. Like you guys did a great job with that, by the way. But
Super fun.
There are ways to do those the correct way, is what I'm saying. Like you can do them, but essentially Hector's decisions or his choices never overshadowed what any of my players wanted.
No, I mean the party's choice still happened. Whatever the party decided generally happened in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like an NPC can voice their displeasure. Like I think he was very Paragon.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he was very Paragon, and like even when things were like less ethical, like you guys were like, "Listen, Hector, I know you don't get it, but this is what has to happen." And he's like, "Well, you guys are more experienced. I bow to your experience," that kind of thing, and it kind of like just evolved on its own. So there's definitely right ways to do all these things, like, and I think communication and stuff like that, like, is the key. As a DM, it's also really good to just read your characters, like read your party. And if you got a character that you're just like, yeah, he's
Yep,
here.
there they are.
They're they're there, then maybe it's time for them to take a walk.
Anti-magic wave.
Well, here's the thing. Like, you can do stuff like have them, they're really powerful. Well, maybe someone else shows up and they're like, listen, guys, I want to stay with you, but I got to handle that. And while I'm doing that, you guys continue fighting the good fight, yada, yada, yada. It's hard when some DMs just don't want to let go of those NPCs. That's when they become that dreaded DMPC, I guess. That you hear in horror stories.
Well, I mean, the NPC is just another PC character, is what it really comes down to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a lot of things to consider when you're putting a story together. Like I said, character, all that stuff. But I think sometimes we get overwhelmed with so many things. I usually tell new DMs who have these grandiose like story ideas to start kind of small.
Oh yeah.
Like start with a town, start with a region, and then kind of spread out from there. Fill out what you need to know. Because sometimes I'm not always a person who builds the world and then goes down. I'm very much like small and go out.
Yeah.
Unless like I have an overall theme I'm looking for, then I kind of just. But even then, like I'll make an area and have no idea what it's exactly like, but I'll have like a sentence or two. It's like this. So when someone asks about it,
you got a small little snippet that you can give players.
And then from there I kind of expound. I'm like at that. I'm not like that area.
I like doing like on my maps and stuff. I like, again, like a bullet point. I like having, all right, this town is here, this town is here. What's in the middle? Who knows?
Right.
But we're gonna go there and something's gonna be there, like a village, a town. Maybe there's an ancient ruin.
Yeah. You just gotta kind of feel that out. So,
yeah, exactly.
Like I said, story just happens. Plot seems like it's hard.
Start small with what you can actually work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't feel like you have to put everyone on the Iliad when you're first.
And also, I mean, you don't need to write necessarily a full campaign either.
No.
Like maybe your game is just between a 1 to 5 or 3 to 6.
And sometimes it just writes itself. You got to sometimes let the story. Like if your players are contemplating a thing and they start bringing up points and you're like, I didn't even plan that, but if it makes sense, sometimes I'll just use it. Like,
sometimes players come up with really good ideas. So you can just run with what they.
Obviously there's someone powerful behind this. How could all these elements happen? You didn't really think about there was a noble putting all this together, but man, that really makes sense. Then you go, well, you actually, guys, you find a crest.
Oh, no.
That kind of thing.
Just add it in right there on the fly.
Right there, you find a crest. And that what it does is not only does it make them feel more validated, right? Like they figured some cool part out. And oh my God, we called that. But then it gives you more material, right? Now you have more sauce.
Well, now you can write up a nobleman. Maybe he's got some underlings.
Yeah, and then my goodness. Now maybe this noble is like a target. And you're like, man, mansion, power, influence. If you got like people who like to play political, he's connected. If you got people who just want to run into him, maybe he has his own little fort, his own keep that they have to like deal with. Like it you have to kind of be open to ideas when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, sometimes you must be like water.
Like water.
I got it, Aaron. They're going to have to walk through the dungeon to get into the castle. Could be a dungeon siege.
I don't like you. You didn't have to, but you did.
So, so on a side note, what's really great besides this coffee I drank? Baldur's Gate 3!
Yes.
Tell us how you really feel about Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh my goodness. Like I said, it's a good time to be a gamer. That's just a side note. It's really good. I have a bunch of games that are good. Like I have 16, FF16, Armored Core 6, Starfield, and Baldur's Gate. Right now, Baldur's Gate is taking priority. Oh my goodness.
And you know what I heard was missing, Aaron, from Baldur's Gate? Loot boxes.
Stop.
Battle passes.
Battle pass.
Oh no.
Downloadable cosmetics.
Downloadable cosmetics. People are. Oh my goodness.
Choice redoers.
Yeah.
Pay this much gold.
no.
Redo a choice you made.
It'd be like a time stop or a miracle spell, and it would just like rewind the scenes.
Yeah, there you
know, for a
go.
low price of $4.99.
What are you talking? That's called quick save. That's that.
What's that? More characters that you have to pay for?
Yeah, you want
crazy.
You want them in your party, you got to pay $1.99.
It's so nice to play a game that's complete off break. But you know what?
Yeah.
This coffee.
Yes.
Nick, what'd you have, bros?
Man, I had the Colombian. I can't remember the name of the brand, but it was really solid Colombian coffee.
It was like the Columbia.
Yeah, it's Columbia something. I can barely
Yeah.
make it out from over
It's
here.
Columbia.
Yeah, it's fantastic. 1 cream, 2 sugars. I'm gonna call this one a Nat 20 for me. This was a good cup.
They're
Okay.
20,
From hot to cold, it was a good cup.
So, man, I have not had a good cup of coffee in a while. So this hit really good.
Well, to be fair, we've had a lot of gas station coffees.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean, if you've watched the show for the past couple sessions, we've hit up like 5-6 gas stations.
yeah. We've had some rough stuff, but man, Colombian, I think it was
It
Colombian.
was Folgers. It was a Folgers Colombian.
Folgers, Colombian.
100% Colombian. Folgers.
Folgers, the best part of waking up.
I mean, I don't argue that Folgers is.
It's
If you
good.
finished it, shame on you.
I punished this like halfway through. It was so
Darn it, I
delicious.
didn't
Drink more
finish.
coffee.
Does that mean it's not an Nat 20?
No,
You
it could
know?
still be. You're just savoring.
Savoring the
But you know what? I'm also gonna give this coffee a 20. Like, how many sugars you put in?
I put 2.
That's just perfect. Perfect coffee for a good day. Nat 20, Folgers Colombian.
Well, I also had the Folgers Colombian.
Was it good?
Oh yeah, no, it was fantastic. I mean,
What was the creamer you used?
it was the Italian
Sweet
Italian
cream
sweet
in there.
cream.
Yeah.
It was donated by my niece.
Thank you. So good. So good.
Yes.
What about you, Mike?
Darn it! I don't want to give it a 20. Like I want to be a rebel.
Okay, give it a 19
Give
then.
it what you want.
But I mean, it was so good. I can't say no. Like I can't argue with the Nat 20 because it was a fantastic cup of coffee. The Italian cream is delicious. The Folgers coffee is straight up
Yeah.
amazing.
So we said Folgers Colombian. With
Go out, get it now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Not
Folgers
sponsored
Colombian.
by Folgers
No.
in any way.
But if you wanted to, though. And with the what's the creamer?
That was the Italian sweet cream.
And that was what's that? Coffee Mate.
Yeah,
Coffee Mate, yeah.
it is
I
Coffee
actually-
Mate, yes.
The Coffee Mate.
It is fantastic. I love the Italian sweet
Perfect
cream.
combo. Look at this. We had a table of crits. That is a rare occasion.
There's like
Yeah.
320s. That's like critically the whole table. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
That's in certain systems.
Surprised
that's
the
like,
table
that's like,
didn't
that's
break.
That's a killing blow right
Like,
there.
that's like God killing, right?
That's right.
See, 20, like anything in certain games, it's dead.
Yeah.
We need a flash of light. Oh.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, Clash of the Fates.
God, yeah, I don't know.
Wait,
How's that applied to the coffee?
So, real quick, guys. First, Strong Beer Gaming, right? You want to say something?
yes. Right now I'm on twitch.tv/strong_beard_gaming. You can catch me Fridays and Saturdays playing games, just being goofy and hanging out. So come check me out. I do have a Twitter and Instagram, but those are linked, so you can find those if you go to the Twitch.
Send me those so I can put them in the description
Will do.
below. Well, guys, not only is there Coffee and Crits, but Low Key Legends and Legends of Bahari, which is
Yeah.
a stream
Oh,
we
yes.
do here at Guild Gaming. And we are all you two are players. I'm the one running it with a few other wonderful people.
I heard it was good.
It was.
It was
So
very
good.
It's so good.
Gotta
so
love it.
you please listen. If you guys like what we talk about, you want to see some of this stuff in action. So you can be like, hey, this guy isn't as good as he's talking on this show. You want to come judge me? Come and check me out
Yeah,
at
you see
DMworld.
how bad we are as players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At DMworld.
Harassing Aaron
Mike,
continually.
Let me say the plug.
Let him
Never.
plug. Let him plug. Damn you.
Jeez, DMworld 9029 at Twitch. Okay, you can also check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and something else. I think I got one other thing. I don't
I
social
think
media.
you mean X.
I don't social media. I'm not gonna lie to you. But also check out Guild Gaming. Guild Gaming Jacksonville. You can also check them out on Facebook. They also sell cards on TCG Player. Perfect 100 reviews on all their stuff. They do great stuff here. Tommy, the owner, he's running a great store. He's great with customers, and if there's any issues, he is always willing to work it out with you. He even let us use the building because of some scheduling stuff. So always appreciate you. So just keep those things in mind, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And the quest never ends.